it's kind of like mud coming in your garage. It's like you don't know when it's going to end. And let me tell you, the mud's going to stop seeping soon because there's lots of stuff. I'm going to list these things off. May I?
Kind of underselling our merch by saying mud.
We've got a lot of last chance items that are the opposite of mud, and very limited quantity. As I'm saying this, some of them are disappearing. So if any of this strikes your fancy, you better get over there. Strike your fancy. Is that the right word? Pique your fancy?
Strike your fancy.
Poke your fancy?
You don't want to poke your fancy.
Mythical merit badges. Still got some of those, but not many. GMM neon sign joggers. Always Curious tee. One of my favorite tees. Sunwave long sleeve tee. That's a good one. Says Good Mythical Morning. Instagruff tee for the ladies. Know Your Worth coin pouch. That's running low. The Bark Dance tee for the ladies. And the Video Club tee. Another one of my favorites. Get that thing now. Get all those now. While they last. Mythical.com.
Limited.
Very limited.
For those of you watching, you can see that I've now taken to, my mustache has gotten kind of long. I need to cut it back. But when I'm trying to drink my drink here, I'm having to then like use a paper towel to, it's really annoying.
You have to dab.
I saw it. I told you about that guy that was he was like the owner of the Texas, whatever the football team, the Titans, whatever they are. And he had a mustache that went completely over both lips, wow. Covered over both lips, and then just connected basically again with his goatee that looked like another mustache. Yeah. Like it was like 2 dollops of hair. I don't understand that, man.
Yeah, I
don't understand how that happens.
If you're watching this, you also see that I'm wearing a t-shirt from the Thoughtful Guy music video. I still have this t-shirt. I work out in it sometimes. It's very sentimental.
You worked out this morning?
I'm thinking about doing a little activity after this. This
is the first time I've put on a shirt that has buttons in probably a month.
Let's get into therapy, shall we? I can't remember how I described the situation that led to me deciding to go to therapy, but it was a long time coming. And I'm distracted by the leaf blower. What? Yeah, Christy's trying to get me go therapy for our entire marriage, she seems to be saying. Well, listen, you can give me a hard time right now because there's a leaf blower right outside here, and maybe they won't hear you or the leaf blower. I can't remember exactly how I characterized my decision to go to therapy, but yeah, it was. I knew I wanted to go. It was just kind of like the little things keep you from doing it. It's like, well, because in the back of your mind, it's like this is quite an undertaking. I'm going to go to a professional and talk about myself, and this is something that I believed in. I was never opposed to. Everyone around me that I care about has a positive experience with going to therapy. I mean, in the discussions that we've had in this venue and otherwise, I've been very encouraged about your experience and your level of growth. And like, I've experienced the benefits of that. So there's nothing inside of myself that was principally opposed to it in any way. Matter of fact, I would always say, I'm looking for a therapist. But it was kind of a lie. It was like, I intend on looking for a therapist is what I really should have said. And I'm actually having a hard time knowing what put me over the edge. Do you remember what I said? That I was like, I'm actually going to do this? It's on record. But once I decided, yeah, I don't remember.
I don't recall.
But I looked through I believe it's psychology.com directory and found some people close to me. I also got recommendations. I ask you to ask your therapist for recommendations because I don't want to go to the same therapist as you. That didn't seem like the best idea. No. You came up dry, but a couple other friends made some suggestions. One friend made a suggestion, and then I didn't like the sound of the therapist's name. And I just didn't feel like I could say that name, like have a, I don't know, it was a distraction to me. I'm not going to mention what the name is.
Well, I will say that
it's like a weird nickname.
This is, that right there is sort of an indication of what will follow, I think, in terms of the way that you approach this, right? And I think that that's something that, not that you should have gone with that person, but I do think that the way that you think about the things that you embark upon is a particular way that I think everyone, we'll get into what made it difficult for me. Everyone has like there's a difficult threshold to cross.
Well, yeah.
And it's like, all based.
And I think it was probably just me putting up barriers because maybe deep down I was intimidated with the prospect of getting into it. I have had this growing sense that like there's some sort of fear with knowing that I'm just afraid of what I might uncover. And I feel like maybe I'm like with my current coping mechanisms and the way that I live my life and whatever it is that I'm not fully exploring or coming to grips with within myself or my past or both, that I say I want to get into it and I believe that it's a good thing, but I'm a little afraid of what I'm afraid of and the unknown of it. And so even the smallest reason could be reason enough to not go for it. Which is why I find it interesting that like I can't remember right now what the trigger mechanism was, but I think it was just basically part of it was Chrissy saying, well, you keep saying that you're looking for a therapist, but you're not actually, and you're not really taking any steps. And this can't, I no longer believe you. It's like she's just kind of calling me on it. And it was true.
Well, we would have conversations as well because we were talking about therapy, recommending psychology.com, talking about how therapy was. And then you would say things like, listen, I'm a real proponent of it. The people in my life have really benefited from it. But after a while, it's like, okay, well.
And I've picked up enough secondhand that I'm probably good, but I should go. Well, but so I finally found someone whose name wasn't the other person's name wasn't Timmy, but it was just like if your therapist's name is like Timmy, it's just like it's like that's just a way, it's like I'm going to have a session with Timmy. It's like that's just weird. It's like
yes, it's like you're going to go to get trained how to juggle by a clown or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that would be more like, I'm going to see my therapist Honkers.
Well, I can see Timmy the Clown. I'm sure there's a Timmy the Clown out there that does birthday parties.
It just, so I didn't want to be distracted by going to see, and Timmy's not the name, but so I found somebody else who had a much more official sounding name. And, I read about this guy on his like information page on psychology.com. And then he said you can email him for like an initial consultation, or consultation may not have been a word, but it's kind of like an interview both ways. It's like, let's just meet over the phone. Let's have a 20-minute conversation and see if my skills match up with what you're interested in getting into. So I set up that call and I went to I went down the street to my internet was out at this particular time. So, which meant my phone is very unreliable. So then I had to drive down and I'm sitting in the parking lot of the grocery store where my cell phone signal is very strong so that I can have a cohesive conversation with this potential therapist. And in the 20-minute conversation, I made up my mind that I was going to be, I was going to lay